to your pharmacy or whatever, set up an appointment, get it.
Right.
They need different things.
Have you seen those tents on sidewalks and parking lots?
Yeah.
Those are exploding. And, I mean, you know, are they sketchy? I don't know. But the boxes of the tests are sealed, and they come from a major company. And when you look at the instructions inside, they're not in Chinese. And the word's misspelled. It's, you know, it looks legitimate. And again, I talked to Jim last night, and he says, just do it. Just do it. Because that is legitimate. You know what it is? Just a bunch of entrepreneurs who have somehow found a supply somewhere and set up a tent and sell these things for $75 for a kit.
And you bought 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chunk of change.
It is, but it's nice to know that we don't have COVID.
Yeah, it's worth it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost unlimited the amount of money someone will pay to make sure they don't have COVID.
Well, some students at Redondo High School walked out of class. They don't like how the COVID situation's being handled there. That the rules aren't adequate enough, and also the rules that they do have aren't really being enforced. It was about 12 students. And they didn't leave campus. They just left the classroom.
Yeah, but that's 12 students in Redondo Beach. We don't know around the country. And hundreds have tested positive. That's one issue that everybody agrees. Later on, I'm going to do a segment on work. Stay home, not stay home. That can be controversial. Everybody is in favor of in-school learning, in-class learning. And that is, that's a huge issue. That's not going to change life. Because we're going to go back. As soon as COVID somehow is reduced, or dramatically is reduced, kids are going to go back to school. Because everybody knows going back to school is better than online learning.
Yeah, but the loss in the meantime.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a loss. There's no question catching up. If you're a year behind, you can't, not only is it harder to catch up, because you now have to make up a year, maybe repeat, but look at your peers. They're entering the workforce earlier. They'll always be ahead of you. And that's the hard thing.
Well, this is a story that we assumed, but now we just have the proof. Omicron causes less severe illness. So they looked at 69,000 Kaiser patients in Southern California. And 52,000 of them had Omicron, 17,000 had Delta. And they found that patients infected with Delta were in the hospital for about 5 days, but the patients who were in the hospital with Omicron, they were in there for a day and a half. So they were able to prove that the Omicron variant is less severe than the Delta variant.
And this is a Kaiser 70,000 people that they tested. Incidentally, they tested them out in the waiting room because no one could actually see a doctor. And they had more than they knew what to do with. There was no problem. It's pretty rough, isn't it? But at least that's the good news on the Omicron variant.
Yeah, this is what they've been saying. And, you know, I said earlier on Wake Up Call, don't think this is old news. This is finally just they had the statistics to prove the theories that they've had.
Now there's data.
Yeah.
And what was it? The CEO of Pfizer, was it last week, said we are developing a vaccine specifically for Omicron.
All 3 of them are. So Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. But Pfizer thinks it will have the Omicron-specific booster by March.
Well, yeah, they're always first. If you notice through the whole pandemic, Pfizer came out first. Pfizer is the most effective at reducing the risk. Pfizer won it. Won the lottery. I'm a Pfizer fan. Only because I've been Pfizer. Is that a verb?
Now it is.
Okay. To Pfizer,
you have coined it.
We have been Pfizered.
Well, some researchers at Oregon State University say the answer to conquering COVID might be cannabis. Don't get excited. It's hemp, so nobody's going to get high from this discovery. And the research is early and only in vitro, but they say there are 2 compounds commonly found in hemp that attach to the spike proteins of the COVID vaccine, preventing it from entering your cells.
If this isn't a commercial for cbdistillery.com, I've never heard of it.
It could get to that point. The two components are CBGA and CBDA.
Yeah. CBD products. And so you have a whole list of what CBD products help you with. They're going to add, it helps you with the Omicron variant.
Yeah, I mean, we're a long way from that. But if in a test tube or a Petri dish, it does bind with the spike proteins that prevent it from entering the cell, that's hopeful.
It is. We're finding an awful lot about this. And I've said before, we've said it, that this thing is going to expand in terms of knowledge, in terms of approaches, research. It's a big, big deal. We're going to come back, do more handle on news, but first let's check in with Jennifer.
Governor Newsom says he wants to spend billions to fight homelessness.
The governor says his plan's never been done in the history of the United States.
$14 billion over the next few years will be invested for interventions out on the streets, dealing with underlying issues, long-term but also short-term solutions.
Newsom was at a homeless camp in San Diego yesterday and also spoke about his frustration with the homeless crisis.
I see it every single day. These encampments in California are unacceptable.
Steve Gregory, Kfi News.
News is brought to you by attorney Sweet James Bergener Accident Attorneys. 4 cities in Orange County have joined a third of the state in switching how electric companies give power to the people.
It's really about consumer choice. OT Power Authority board member Mike Posey says one rate plan soon available in Irvine, Huntington Beach, Fullerton, and Buena Park costs about the same as SoCal Edison. With 38% of that power coming from renewable energy sources like solar and wind. He says choosing 100% renewable costs about 7% more. Climate Action Campaign's Ayn Crayson says it's worth the cost.
For more than a century, we've been stuck with a monopoly that has brought steadily increasing rates and contributed to the climate crisis and blacked out.
Consumers can also opt to just stick with SoCal Edison. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
The LA City Council voted to enforce its anti-camping law at 58 new locations, including MacArthur Park. The resolution passed yesterday. The law bans sleeping, sitting, camping, and blocking streets or sidewalks within 500 feet of schools, daycare facilities, parks, and libraries. A U.S. judge has rejected Prince Andrew's motion to dismiss a lawsuit from a Jeffrey Epstein accuser. This woman says the British royal sexually abused her when she was underage. ABC's Victoria Murphy says the news is dominating British media.
The longer that narrative continues, the more damage it does for the monarchy, and I think we might start to see that play out more this year.
Murphy says the recent polls in Britain still show public support for the monarchy. And the number of people applying for unemployment benefits has gone up to its highest level since mid-November. Job applications were up by 23,000. The total now stands at 230,000 people. That is not high by historical standards, but applications for unemployment have risen in 4 out of the last 5 weeks. We've got your drive on the 10.
Yep, the drive's pretty good. The section of it anyway, it's a long freeway, that's for sure. But the westbound San Bernardino freeway section of 10. Actually, coming off 57 over to 605. It usually gets her a little busy this time. It's vast, it's maybe just a little slow, approaching 605, but really not too bad at all. Eastbound traffic, that's the way you're going, that's fine. And then from the 605, 710, all that's good. Same thing to the 60, very light volume here so far, so it's a pretty good drive. The West 210, like the South Florida, getting out of the valley, it's slow getting through Orlando, but after that, you should be okay. We're going to head back towards East LA, downtown Los Angeles, so more on that coming up. Injured in accident, visit Chippewa.com. Just off AFI in the sky.
The Rams are getting creative.
It's yeah, this
will make a comeback with the Rams for the upcoming playoffs. The former All-Pro safety, who's 37, last played in 2019, but he's coming out of retirement as an emergency replacement to help LA fill a roster decimated by injuries. How about hockey? The LA Kings get the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight at 7:30. Pittsburgh coming off a win over the Ducks. You can hear this match live through the iHeart Radio app. Sleep is critically important. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing a story on this a little bit later on. And I'm going to suggest that a good way to get good sleep, and that's
G-Wagon. G-Wagon.
Well, my dad, I've been sleeping on one for the last 14 years. You can actually customize and adjust each side of the bed your ideal firmness and your comfort and your support. That firmness is your sleep number. Mine happens to be 100. I like a firm mattress. And now the lowest price of the season is going on. It's just through January 17th. You can save $1,000 on Fleet Number 360 Smart Bed. And this weekend, get special financing and free premium delivery when you're out of base. That means Monday. This is subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payment required. Go to StreetNumber.com for details. Matter of fact, go to StreetNumber.com if you want to purchase a bed. Also, at one of 30 stores in Long Beach, Moreno Valley, Brea, South Bay, among them. And Sleep Number is the official sleep and wellness partner of the Los Angeles Rams. Visit SleepNumber.com.
Check out what is on KFI. We've got a mostly cloudy day ahead. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s to the low 70s.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm Jackson Jones 3.
San Manuel Casino is changing its name and changing the game. San Manuel Casino is now Yamada Resort and Casino San Manuel. With 2 new casino floors, now with over 6,500 slots, the most in the West. A new high limit room for 5 elevated gaming experiences, 2 luxury retail shops, restaurants and bars, and even more thrills to come. Experience a level of thrill that California has never seen before. San Manuel Casino is now Yamada Resort and Casino of San Manuel. Details at Yamada.com. After 21, please gamble responsibly.
By now, you've heard the news. Boosters for Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are available. They help keep your immunity strong and help keep you and others protected against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit mytrain.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. Let's keep each other safer and healthier this winter. Get your booster and keep it up with your booster too. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
DOU is my new favorite fitness app, and it's $3.99 a month. I can't believe everything I get. Real-time coaching, daily live workouts where I can see my friends, plus thousands of on-demand classes like strength, boot camp, yoga, and more. I'm obsessed with Neuralink interactive workouts where my instructor can see and talk to me. And when you sign up for a 60-day free trial on January 31st, you'll pay this DOUFitness.com. That's DOUFitness.com. I'd like to think to normal. Our worries have not disappeared, but evolved. CalHope offers free COVID-19 emotional support. Call 1-833-317-6673 or live chat at calhope.org today. Unadjust your sleep at Mattress Firm's new bed, new you sale. A start the year off right. Shop select mattresses from top brands starting at $159.99. Plus, get even immediate delivery. Don't get that.
For official rules and more information about contacts on this station, go to KFIAM640.com/rules. AM640. Heart radio station. 24-hour news. More stimulating thoughts. Good morning. Thursday, January 13th. Bill Handel here with the entire morning crew.
The game.
Hey, we run on the bus, don't we? Let's return to Handel on the news. Jennifer John Free, Wayne, and me.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said, no thanks. He was asked to cooperate with the investigation into the January 6th attack, and so far he has said, yeah, I don't really feel like doing that. And the committee, of course, could issue a subpoena to the other people who have said they don't want to go along with the attack, or the investigation into the attack. And if McCarthy ignores this, he too could face contempt of Congress charges.
Look at the reason, because the entire investigation is politically motivated. And they couldn't put, or Nancy Pelosi wouldn't put his choice of people on the committee, like Jim Jordan, who has said over and over again.
Can he then know, I mean, that's his, in his argument, that's his proof.
Well, it's not true. It's, he argues it's politically motivated, and here's my tip. A couple of Congress people who said, Joe Biden did not win the election. The whole election was rigged. Democrats rigged the January 6th incident was not, I say the word incident because the argument is it wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't at all influenced by Republicans, Trump's, and the campaign. And the argument is Donald Trump himself.
Did you
And so
find
he
it?
says, you don't put my people on who have already preconceived what happened. No insurrection, no attack. I think one of the Congress people said that it wasn't even people other than tourists that were in the building. There's video in the rotunda. People walking within the stanchions.
You terrorists,
It was
not for
so
sure.
therefore proof positive. Nobody was hurt. It was the Democrats
Oh,
who
oh,
set this up, pretended to be Trump followers, and he wanted those people on the committee. By the way, the argument also is a lot of Democrats have already had preconceived notions about the fault of Trump and those Republicans. So it goes both ways.
What is the motivation for this ongoing investigation, and what is the practical end game?
SRT and Power
Do you think
States.
they're going to get criminal
346
charges against any of these politicians?
But I think it's a question of letting the American people know and
Gee,
contradicting
whack.
that belief that Joe Biden should not be the president.
G
Not out of
whack.
president. He was illegally
G
elected.
whack.
The real winner has been denied the presidency. And
Whack.
what they want to do is say, hey, we want to undo this fake news. But of course, it's going to be Democrats to say that.
Well, that's it. To Wayne's point,
Jump.
if people are already decided, though, and they 100% believe that the election was stolen, they don't care.
No,
Yeah,
but-
terrorists.
but here it is. They want it on the record.
Yeah.
They want it on the record. The problem is it's going to be a Democratic record. And
I think,
go ahead.
I think it is political, and I think that their purpose is to try to keep this as a talking
Sorry,
point
yeah.
going into the
Sorry.
election.
Could be. Now,
And don't get me wrong, okay, I'm glad people are going to prison over what happened. There's hundreds of prosecutions of individual people who broke the law, and they all should be held, not only held to account, but held very severely to account for what happened. Because what happened is an embarrassment, it's atrocious, it's frightening, but this aspect of it is purely political, because what are they going to end up actually doing about it?
it becomes the issue that's on the record. That Congress determined that this happened and happened the way that the Democrats, who I tend to believe more, I don't disagree that it's political, but I don't agree with that Joe Biden is not the president, should not be the president. The big lie, the fraud that took place, the massive fraud that took place, I think that has to be corrected.
But this isn't an investigation of that. This is not an investigation of the election and the counterfactual narrative that the election was stolen. This is an investigation of that incident on January 6th.
And the basis of that was the reply, if you will, to those people that say that it was stolen. And I'm talking about top Republicans who say that. Three-quarters of the Republicans out there, of the general public, think the election was stolen. And they're investigating how that insurrection started. And that is political. That is political. That's the problem. This is where I disagree with you. Oh, and if the Republicans win the midterm and Kevin McCarthy becomes the speaker, that investigation is shut down instantly. We don't have to investigate this at all. And then followed by, and this is obviously me throwing in a little hyperbole, we don't have to investigate because we know Joe Biden is not the real president. And we know that wasn't a real attack on the Capitol building. It was not an insurrection. It was not sedition. So therefore, we don't need an investigation. Shut it down. And that's what's going to happen if Kevin McCarthy becomes the speaker. And then what is also going to happen is that since the Democrats are in collusion with everybody who disagrees with the premise of the Republicans, then everything becomes everything. I mean, putting up stop signs at a place where people have been killed on the corner, that's political. Changing the flavor of the milkshakes at the Capitol building, that becomes political.
Everything's political when people define themselves solely by their politics.
Yeah.
That's which is what's happening in this country now.
And that's where we are.
Okay. Sometimes Americans will decide to live abroad. Maybe the cost of living is lower, what have you. So these two women have been living in Panama. They're still United States citizens. And they went on a vacation within Panama, and on the plane ride back, the plane crashed. And now their families are begging the U.S. government to help find them, and the U.S. government is saying, we really have nothing to do with this. That's Panama. We don't really have jurisdiction. We don't have enough resources to try to send salvage divers and sonar to help you find your relatives.
That's why there are not enough assets. That resonates. However, we don't have jurisdiction when, for example, when the FBI is brought in, or when FEMA is brought in, or whatever help that the United States provides, emergency help. Jurisdiction is never a problem. People ask, governments ask, the United States says yes. Where's the jurisdictional issue? Now there is if there's no request, and the government just jumps in, going into territorial waters, for example, to find two Americans. But this argument, I don't think so.
I'm sure Panama would not object.
No.
To any help.
What?
So the family's, making a big deal about it. But on the other hand, maybe if we have scarce resources, we can save them for people who are still living here.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to come back and finish up handle on the news on this Thursday morning. Jennifer Jones lead.
The Biden administration is sending medical teams to half a dozen states to help with overcrowded hospitals to keep up with the Omicron surge. The states include New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Rhode Island, Michigan, and New Mexico. More than 40,000 National Guard and Reserve troops are a step closer to expanded GI Bill benefits. The House approved legislation yesterday. Now it's up to the Senate. And a new report says there are alarming racial disparities in the rate of cancer deaths. The American Cancer Society says the risk of dying from cancer is 33% higher for blacks than whites and 50% higher for Native Americans. You've got your drive on the 101 with Kfi in the sky next.
We should never take for granted clean air. IQ Air's mission is simple. They want to give you the cleanest air possible, and they developed the affordable Autumn series to do just that.
The Autumn Desk is a revolutionary air purifier that transforms your workspace into personal clean air zones.
Unlike other air filtration systems that may take hours to purify the air in a room, the Autumn Desk begins working immediately.
Its unique design protects you by removing ultrafine particles from your personal
Please check authorizing for the broadcast.
perfectly on any
Let's see
Designed in Switzerland and manufactured in Germany, this game-changing technology has been proven to remove 99% of all airborne pollutants.
We've been using the Autumn Desk in our studio now for months, and it's
Please check authorizing for the broadcast. What's the
US or 800-500-4247. Losing sleep over a stressful job or a bad boss? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals.
Hey, patient.
Or expresspros.com. More than 500,000 people find work with Express each year.
Yeah, weather from KFI, mostly cloudy today with highs from the mid-60s to expresspros.com. From Southern California, Toyota dealers, traffic center, let's go places. We're heading to the 101.
We look at another long freeway. We're over Sherman Oaks right now. If you are planning on getting on the eastbound 101 to Ventura Freeway at Coldwater, right now you can't do it. Fire department's there. There's a small fire that broke out. Didn't look enormous or anything, but they are blocking the on-ramp to deal with it. So use Woodman, take it on, use Laurel Canyon, that'll get you where you need to be. The 101 itself, between the 405 and the 170 and 134, that's all looking pretty good. And we came through downtown. If you're going to take that right turn up